I hope this finds you well. In this video, we look at the easy way to remember the different rules for the defense of insanity in a criminal case. Remember that there's always a presumption of sanity, and typically, the defendant must prove insanity by a preponderance of the evidence. In some jurisdictions, and under the Model Penal Code, once the defendant raises the defense of insanity, then the state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant was sane. Remember that insanity is a legal term and not necessarily a medical term. We're going to look at 4 rules: the Naughton Rule, the Irresistible Impulse Rule, the Durham Rule or New Hampshire Rule, and the American Law Institute or MPC Model Penal Code rules of insanity. The Naughton Rule can best be remembered by the word drawn. A defendant is entitled to acquittal if they can prove that they had a disease of the mind that caused a defect in reasoning such that the defendant lacked the ability at the time of the crime to know the wrongfulness of his or her actions or to understand the nature and quality of his or her actions. Irresistible Impulse Rule can be remembered by MC cubed. M is for a mental illness, and then the 3 C's that cause the defendant to be unable to control or confirm their conduct. The Durham Rule, which has been replaced by the ALI or MPC rule, can be remembered by the 3 D's. The defendant will be entitled to acquittal if they can prove that their actions were a product of a disease or defect, and but for that disease, they would not have committed the crime. Finally, the ALI or MPC rule for insanity can be remembered by the word dismal. Here, the defendant had a mental disease or defect. The defendant substantially lacked capacity to appreciate the criminality or confirm their conduct to the law. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.